Go. And we are live from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. All right, number one on the test review for test 5. First one's using the calculator, round it to 3 decimal places, the square root of 323. And on your machine, you should get this decimal number. We're rounding to the 3rd decimal place, so it's this 2 here. And looking to the number to the right, I see it's 2, so that means I'm going to round it off to 17.972, which is letter B on your Scantron. Okay, number 2 is next. Okay, number 2 starts us off in this form, the problem. And so I broke it up into 2 separate radicals, and the top one would simplify to be 3x, that's on the outside, right? Nothing left on the inside. And that would be over the 4th root of y to the 8th. So there's 2 of those, right? If I divide 4 into 8, it's 2. So it would mean it's y squared. Okay, and that would give us, what is that? C is our answer for number 2. Let's go to number 3. Okay, number 3 is fairly straightforward. I want the 4th root of 16, which is 2. And then x to the 2nd power. And y to the 4 goes into 16 4 times. So there we have answer for number 3. And what happened here? So I've got, looks like C is our solution there. Checking on my key here. So that's correct. It's C is the answer. Number 4, while I'm here, I'll just do this quickly. This is where we're going to substitute -5 for what's inside the radical there. So I got the 3rd root of -5 plus 32, which equals the 3rd root of 27. And the 3rd root of 27 is 9. No, not 9. The 3rd root of 27 is 3. And that's positive 3, so that would make it D for number 4. Number 5. Here's number 5 here. Same principle here. I've got the square root of 2 times 17. Replace the 17 for the x. That gives me 34 minus the 9. And that gives me the square root of 25, which equals positive 5. And that their answer would be A. Here we have 9 over 16 raised to the 1/2, which is going to be simplified to being the square root of 9 over the square root of 16, which is simply 3 over 4. And our answer to number 6 there is C. That letter was C. All right, fairly easy one. Let's try 7. When I rewrite into the radical notation, it's going to be the cube root of 64 raised to the 4th power. So that means the cube root of 64 is 4, and 4 to the 4th power is 256. That means 4 to the 4th power equals 256. I can't raise it up on my screen here to show you. I see the problem. Anyway, all right, but that's what it is. And for number 7, the answer was B. Number 8, same concept here. I've got the 5th root of 32 raised to the 4th power. So again, it's easier to take the 5th root of 32, which is 2, and raise it to the 4th power, and that's going to give you 16. And the answer to that one is B as well. All right, there's 7 and 8. Number 9, we have 8x raised to the 1 over 5. So therefore, on this one, the exponent only applies to the x, not the 8. So I'd write this up to be 8 times the 5th root of x to the first power. And with that, I'm going to get the answer of, that's all I can do. I can't do any simplifying here, so it looks like it parallels with the answer of B. All right, so that would be number 9. A little tricky if you remember. It would be different if it were 8x in parentheses raised to the 1/5. But it's not, so it's 8 on the outside. Number 10, same concept here. I've got number 10 is 2x plus 6 raised to the 2/3. Now it's enclosed in parentheses, so it's going to be the 3rd root of this 2x plus 6 raised to the 2nd power. Okay, and what is that, 10? So that 8 ended up coming up to be A. It looks like it's a match right there. So our A is our answer for number 10. We'll squeeze one more in here for number 11, and that's the square root of y to the 11th. Okay, so that means I could, the index is 2. 2 goes into 11 5 times, and then I'd have a remainder of 1. So that means I'm going to have a y on the inside, and then 2 went into 11 5 times, so it's going to be y to the fifth power. Let me get rid of that for a minute. Okay, and that would be correct, and that answer is D. Number 12, I think I can squeeze it in here. I've got the 7th root of x to the 62nd power. Okay, so let's see, 7, I'll do a little, my arithmetic down here. 7 goes into 62, not 9 times, but 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56, so I've got a remainder of 6. And so therefore my answer is going to parallel with, let's see, my answer would be x to the 8th with how many left inside is my question. So remember the index number here as well is 7. So that means I've got 56 plus what is 62, and what's left inside is x to the 6th power. All right, there's how you do your check. X to the 8th raised to the 7th, our power rule gives us x to the 56, and 56, x to the 56 times x to the 6 equals x to the 62. And I'm just checking my answer to see if I'm right with this one. Number 13, square root of 24x squared y. So it looks like I've got 24. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with a square root. So how about 4 times 6, and then times x squared. And the y I only have 1 left. So doing this problem, I got the square root of 4 is 2. So that comes outside. 6 stays. X squared, square root of x squared is x, that comes out, and this y stays inside. So this would be my final answer for number 13, and it looks like it's going to be A. Okay, for number 14, gets switch gears a little bit here. Since my indexes are the same here, I see I have values here that I can divide evenly. So I could write this up as, I could do this, cube root of 24 a to the 5th be the 9th over this 3a squared. and I could do my simplifying underneath the radical at this point. For example, 24 divided by 3 is 8. So I could rewrite this to be 8, a to the 5th divided by a squared. Remember, we subtract the smaller exponent from the larger one. That's going to give me a cubed, and the b to the 9th just stays. It's like over 1. All right, so this is what I'm left with. So 8 is a cube number, so I'm going to have a final answer of 2a, and then b to the third power. Okay, and let's see, what is that? My answer here looks like it's getting to be C here. All right, for number 14, and that checks out with my answer key. How about number 15? Okay, same concept. If I were to rewrite that, it would be, I could make this whole thing under the radical this way, making it the 4th root, 405x to the 13th divided by 5x. Okay, then I got to figure out what's 405 divided by 5. Okay, real quick here. And that gives me 81. All right, so I'm going to have I'll write it down here, the 4th root of 81, x to the 12th. 13 minus the 1. Okay, so then I've got the 4th root of 81 is 3, and x to the 12th, 4 into x to the 12th goes x to the 3 times. So there's my answer for number 15, which again I can't, there it is, 15 is going to be 3x to the 3rd, and it is B. Okay. Number 16 is the distance problem. Here's the distance formula with the ordered pairs filled in. So when I calculate this, I've got negative 11. This turns to plus 6. Negative 11 plus 6, plus 5, which is negative 6. Then when we square that, becomes 36 plus 7 plus 1, which is 8, and we square that at 64. And I've got the square root of 36 and 64, which is the square root of 100, which is 10. And that's letter D. How about number 17? Let me set this one up. Okay, so I've got my ordered pairs here. This is, maybe call this x1, this is x2, this is y1, this is y2. So I add these together, I get negative 13 square root of 6 divided by 2. And over here for the y, I get 4 and 7 is 11 square root of 5, and that would be over 2. Okay, and my answer there is going to be D. Okay, for 18, we've got a little bit of work to do on these. So starting with this 6a, there's nothing I can do with it, so I leave it alone. And here I've got minus 4, and then I'll break down the 150. So let's see, the 150 will break down to be, how about 10 times 15. The a is going to stay, I see that. So the 10 is going to be 5 times 2. 15 will be 5 times 3. So therefore I have the square root of this. For every 2, take out 1. So the 5 comes out, and what's left is the 2 times the 3, which is 6. And then don't forget the a comes down inside the radical. And now I have this minus 4 here within the problem, so I've got to multiply these two numbers together. This negative 4, which is the same as this negative 4, times the 5. So this, in essence, becomes negative 20 root 6a. Okay, so here I've got my first. This is my second term. Now I'm talking in the problem. Here's the third term, and I'll figure out what this is. This is negative 2. That's important to note. The 54 I can break down to be 9 times 6. Again, the a is, there's only one of them, so that's going to remain inside like the other two. And then the 9 will break, well, there's a square root of 9. How about I do that since I see it right in front of me? So the square root of 9 times 6, the 9 is a root number. So that's 3. So the 3 comes out is multiplied to the negative 2 here. So in essence, that's going to be negative 6 on the outside, and inside is 6 and this a here. And that's number 3. So all three have 6a under the radical, and then I simply have to add these up. And this may have given you trouble here. Remember, that's a 1 here. So it's 1 minus 20 minus 6. And that's going to give you negative 25 root 6a. Okay, what is that, number 18? And it looks like it's B. Nope. B. Okay, next problem. Number 19. Here, I'll just do it here. Cube root of 27y minus cube root of 128y. Alright, well, the first one's easy. The cube root of 27 is 3, so that means I'm going to have 3 on the outside, cube with the y inside, minus, then I'll figure out what this is. Is 128 a cube number? Let's see, so if let's see, what can I do here? 2 times 114. Okay, that's not, that 2 is prime. 114 would break down to be 50, sorry about that, 2 times 57. Okay, that's prime. And 57, wow, 7 and 5, when I add it, is 12. 3 goes into 12 evenly, so this number 57 will divide evenly. Okay, let's see, I got 57 divided by 3 is 19, so it's 3 times 19. Prime, prime. So with that, it is not, right? I need three of the same number, and I've only got 2. So therefore, this stays as it is. So it's going to be 3 times the cube root of y minus 3 times 128y. Let me double check that. No, go back checking that. This is wrong here. 2 times 114 is 228, not 128. So if I did that again here, let's see, that's going to give me 2 times 64. That's better. 2 is prime. 64 is going to be 2 times 32. Wow, a lot of 2's now. Okay, and I know 32 from before is 2 to the 5th power. So I've got 5, 6, 7 2's. All right, so I could say 2 to the 7th power. Okay, so then I could say 3 goes into 7 2 times. So that's going to be what? 3 goes into 7 2 times, and I'd have 1 left over. So in essence, it's going to be 2 to the 2nd power, which is 4. I'll do it here. I'll squeeze it here. 4 comes on the outside, and then inside is 2a, or 2y. That stays inside. Let me make sure here now. So here I've got 4, my index is to the third power, that's 64. 4 to the third power is 64 times 2 is the 128 times the y. Okay, so I had my beginning part here, which I can't simplify, 3 third root of y, and then that's going to be minus this 4 cube root of 2y. I can't add them together because they're not the same. So this matches up with, where am I? This matches up with letter D here. And good enough. Good thing I caught it. All right, number 20. Distributive property here. So that's going to mean the square root of 7 times 21 is 7 and 147. And that will be plus the square root of 49, which is 7. Okay, so then with the 147, I can break that up to be, well, basically where it came from. This would be the 7 times 3. Here's my 21. And so I've got, I take the square root of this, so 7 comes out, and I'm left with 3 inside. And I'll bring down my plus 7. So it looks like it's going to be letter A. Letter A is my solution here. However, hold on a minute. I got to check this. Okay, we got it. This is it. And it corresponds to C. That's better. How about 21? The same thing here. So let's see, I've got square root of 13. Okay, so this is number 21. And we'll FOIL this. It's a difference of 2 squares. So I've got, if I FOIL it, I've got 13. Outside is negative 2 root 13 plus inside, which is positive 2 root 13, and last is minus 4. Okay, 2 middle terms cancel out, so I end up with 13 minus 4, which is 9. And looks like D for number 21. 22, square root of Z minus Y multiplied to square root of Z plus Y. Difference of 2 squares again. So the first items here, square root of Z times the square root of Z is Z. Outside and inside is plus Y square root of Z minus Y square root of Z, and last is minus Y squared. Middle terms cancel, and I'm left with Z minus Y squared. And Z minus Y squared is B, number 22. Let's get one more in here, number 23. I've got this x minus 5 plus 7 squared. And we said this is 2 of these. and then I'll FOIL this. Square root of x minus 5 times the square root of x minus 5 is x minus 5. Outside is going to be 7 square root of x minus 5. Why do I have a minus there? It's plus. And inside is plus 7 square root of x minus 5. And last is 49. So I have like terms of 49 minus 5. So it looks like I'm going to have x, I could write this anyway, I suppose, x plus 44 plus 14 square root of x minus 5. And for 23, I'm going to find that one, and it looks like it's going to be number, well, let's see what order they arranged it. Looks like it's going to be D for number 23. And it is. 2 more to go. All right, number 24, distributive property here. I'm going to end up with square root of 15 plus 3 times 7, square root of 21. I can't simplify those, so that's my answer for number 24. And it looks like it is letter B. The last one here, number 25. Here I've got, well, this one I can simplify a little bit because it's 75. I know it's the square root of 25 times 3. Okay, so that would change to be 3. And then the square root of, let's see, square root of 25 is 5, so I can multiply the 5 to the 3. Wait a minute. Now, where'd that 3 come from? Never mind. Scratch that. Let me just look at what I'm doing here. So I've got the square root of 25, which is 5, so the 5 can come out, and then I'm left with root 3. And this root 3 is on the outside, and then that would be plus the square root of 15. Let's see how it runs this way. All right, so then I'm going to have square root of 3 times 5 times the square root of 3. That would be 5 times the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is 3, so this would be 3 times 5, which is 15. Okay, plus, and how about this? Let me try square root of 3 times 15. And that would give me what? 30, 45. So the square root of 45, which is like the square root of 9 times 5. Square root of 9 is 3. Then I have 5 inside. Okay. And what does that mean? What does it all mean? I end up with 15 plus 3 root 5. If I'm right, if I did that right. And for 25 here, last one, I've got 15 plus 3, 5. Here, B. Ooh, looks like B here. All right, and that's number 25. And that's it. All right.